What is content marketing? Well, let's go and look at the dictionary definition. I certainly recommend that you look at this book, Joe Pulizzi, Epic Content Marketing, and let's go. Content marketing is the marketing and business process for creating and distributing valuable and compelling content to attract, acquire, and engage a clearly defined and understood target audience with the objective of driving profitable customer action. Everyone must have heard of John Deere, the tractor people. Now, they never spent a penny on advertising in the 1800s. What they used to do was write this magazine about what was happening in farming, how farmers could do better. It educated them, it told them what seeds to plant, when to plant it, and gave them great tips on how to be a better farmer. And the advertising was very subtle. There wasn't over the top. And from that, what happened was people started to trust what John Deere did. So when they needed a tractor or a plough, they automatically thought of John Deere. And that's content marketing. Think about what Red Bull does. They go and do stunts with jumping out of a spaceship and parachuting in. Why do they do that? Well, because then young people will watch it, they'll suck it up like a sponge, and they'll eventually buy their fizzy sweet drinks. It's been around, but unfortunately, up until the 1950s, what happened in the 1950s was TV came along. And what happened was everybody's watching the TV in their living room. And adverts came on, interrupted you and said, buy this. And what happened was people bought it because they thought everyone else was buying it. And what happened was these firms worked out that the more you spent on advertising, the more products you sold. So the more products you sold, the more money that came in, you spent more on advertising, and it just rolled round. But unfortunately, that worked until 1980s, 1990s, and then this thing called the Tinternet came along. And now all of a sudden, instead of being 4 TV channels and a couple of newspapers, there's thousands of channels. And I don't know about you, but I switch off from the TV adverts. I'm sure you do. I don't even look at the banner adverts on the in the newspapers or on the internet. I just switch off from them. They reckon you see 2,000 adverts a day. So the old marketing, or as I call it, advertising, which most agents do about banging on about themselves and how wonderful they are, people are ignoring. It worked 20, 30 years ago, but it doesn't work now because we all switch off from the adverts. So let's go back to the book and let's just see how content marketing can work in estate agency and lettings. So here we go. So content marketing is the marketing and business process for creating and distributing valuable and compelling content. So what is valuable and compelling to a homeowner and a landlord? It isn't you, it isn't your firm, the fact that you've been open since 2 BC, the fact that you've won the Esters or the Sunday Times Awards. But what is of interest is what's happening in the local property market to their home, what's happening to prices to their home, what's happening to rents in their area, what's happening to yields in their area. A landlord is just a homeowner that doesn't live in their house. And remember, half of landlords do live in the same area that they buy in. To attract, acquire and engage. Well, again, if you're talking about the local property market, people will be engaged. We already know that there's a clearly defined and understood target audience. Remember, 100% of homeowners live in the house they live in. Talk about captive audience. You know where your customers live, and you know what they're interested in. And a landlord is more likely, if 50% of landlords do live local, they're more likely to live in the middle to upper class areas of your town. So again, you know where your landlords are. With the objective of driving a profitable customer action. Think about it. People do business with people they trust, because they certainly don't do business with people they don't trust. So tell me why Sir David Attenborough has been constantly voted the most trustworthy person in Britain. None of us have met him, but the reason he is trustworthy is that what he talks about is really, really interesting. And the human brain is wired up to learn to trust what it finds interesting. It's the way our brains are wired. So therefore, if you want to be trustworthy, you have to be interesting. If you want to be interesting, you have to talk about something that interests your homeowners and your landlords. Therefore, we know what interests a homeowner and a landlord, and it isn't you, and it isn't your firm, and it isn't your company, but it's the local property market. So, and you know exactly where they live because they live in your locality. Put articles in the newspaper, which editors will quite often put in for free. Put it all out on social media, put it out in newsletters, and put it through letterboxes. And you'll become the most interesting person in the world. Grab their attention, be interesting. From interest comes trust, and from trust, people do business with people they trust. It really is as simple as that.